Good evening, mga kalaro, and welcome to the Council of Titos, the show on the Laro-Laro lang channel that talks about a different kind of game, the reality TV game show, and a social experiment that has run for over 25 years, Survivor. I'm Chief Bisdak Joel Parcon, and with me as always is Juxtapotito Jao Atienza. What's up, Jao? How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing well. I am in awe of your new shirt. It looks so clean. It looks just like the old one, just a lot newer.
Yeah, that old one is almost 20 years old. This is like 20 hours, no, not hours, but yeah, just a couple of days old. I got this. It's becoming a tradition. Whenever we travel, we're gonna pick up a Council of Titos shirt.
Exactly. You're what? You have two more than me now, I think, because like the last one that I got shrunk in the wash.
Just when
Or
you
maybe I
thought you'd
just
have
ate
one.
that much. Maybe I just ate that
Maybe,
much. I don't know.
maybe.
I don't know. Food
But
in Bali was pretty good.
oh, that's cool. That's nice. That's nice. That's good. Yeah. More trips and more Council of Titos shirts along the way. Right. Anyway, tonight we are going to give our thoughts about the season finale of season 48 entitled Only One of Yous is Winning. But before we begin, do consider hitting the subscribe button as well as the notification bell so you get updated whenever we come up with new episodes on the channel. And for those of you who just want to listen to our soothing voices and not have to look at our mugs whenever we talk Survivor, you can go to counciloftitos.com or wherever you can find your podcasts. And so, without further ado, let's begin. Season finale. What are your feelings about it?
Oh, I completely forgot. Um, I had this, right? I intended to have like milk with it, but I completely forgot to bring like the milk. But I started getting like conscious, right? Like how much do I like chicken wing when I drink?
Yeah, apparently there is a theory, right? How masculine you are. I mean, David, with all of his theories and things that he does, I don't know.
Anyway,
Anyway, yeah, season finale.
great final three. All of that.
Uh-huh.
We totally called Mitch not making it there. All of that, and all of that, and yet the things that stood out to me were like David's milk thing, which wasn't even part of the episode. It was part of the after show,
Mhm.
and also his stupid knock knock anti joke.
That was, I don't know, that was when he stood up for Mary, that was already cringe. The anti joke was even cringer. Uh, Maybe it was because his acting was so bad, the way that he was trying to look menacing, that when he tried to, we already knew that he was acting, right? We called it. He was acting. He was handing up the camera. So when he told us that he was acting, that made it even cringer. Yeah.
Mm. Oh well.
Anyway, so yeah, I think that you hit the nail on the head, right? It was an amazing final three, but was it really a memorable finale? It had its moments. It had its moments. I'll give you that. It had its moments, but then again, the moments for me were similar to moments that we already had earlier, like Eva's breakdown and Joe
Mm,
helping her out, and then Eva powering through, being at her lowest or at the low point, right?
mm,
Yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it was. It should probably be. It's probably me being a little bit bitter that Joe didn't win. It was not a memorable finale for me. It was a little meh, and I think that it caps off, in your estimation, a season that hasn't really quite gotten hyped, right?
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was really sad, right? Because a lot of the first half of the season, like the back half of the front half of the season was great. Like some of the
Mm.
best Survivor that I think we've ever seen. Some of the best episodes of the new era, but then was followed up by, I don't know, it was followed up by a slug, a bit of a
Mm.
slug.
Mhm. Was it because the strong group was so dominant, or was it because production really wanted to hide the Kyle and Camilla duo, that they hit it too well that we couldn't get excited about what they were gonna do.
Hmm.
Or was it something else, right?
Yeah. I think it was the strong alliance. Like, what's it? As Survivor viewers, we like drama. We like moves to be made, right? So, this was in a way a very sort of old school gameplay
Mm-hmm.
season, right? With all of the like new school niceties, if that makes
Mm.
sense. There's been a lot of commentary about like, oh, so all of you people that wanted to have an old school season, here it is. But then, of course, the old school season that people are talking about, less idols, all of that sort of thing. But like, it was very, admittedly quite old school in that like dominant alliance,
Mm-hmm.
people aren't making moves, all of that sort of thing. But we don't have anybody that's really bitter, at least anybody that's bitter shown on screen, and everybody is a lot nicer, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, we don't get great gameplay, as was, the case of the old seasons. But at least the old seasons had blow ups, the old seasons had people like throwing rice in the fire, like that sort of thing. Like
Mm-hmm.
we don't have that here, plus we get like um a dominant alliance, a new era sort of pagonging-ish,
Mm-hmm.
right? So, like, yeah, um, it's sad because it was a season that had a lot of promise.
Exactly.
We were, like 6 episodes ago, man, we were like so hype.
That's right.
I remember that feeling. It was something in my loins that was like, yes.
Yeah, but then I don't know. Yeah, I guess you're right. The strong alliance was too dominant.
Yeah,
Even the most exciting thing that could have happened to the strong group with the paranoia or the quote unquote seeming paranoia of David creeping in didn't really add up to anything on TV, right?
yeah.
We didn't. I mean, he was the closest to actually throwing. Well, they didn't have rice. Throwing anything in the fire, right?
Yeah.
But they never really played it up. I don't know if he actually had any potential to do that, or was it just being played up by production? Uh, yeah, this became such a ho hum back end of the season. And like
Yeah.
you said, it's sad because it had so much promise in the front end, and it goes back to a philosophy that we've shared. And again, we keep on going back to our experience in theater, where a show in its entirety cannot just be made of sporadic moments of brilliance, right?
Yeah.
It has to be the entire thing has to be one brilliant show. It can't just be okay. There was this moment that was really good, or even a person's performance. It can't just be made up of some moments of brilliance. The entire performance has to be consistent, consistently good at the very least. But here in
Well,
the especially the back half, it went down.
another thing though, um, we can like again going back to our experience with the theater, um, if the show isn't going great, I distinctly remember one of our directors, saying like, "All right, we're gonna go through this." Over and over and over again until we get it perfect. If not, we go back to the beginning. If not, we go back to the beginning. Um, and the idea was, well, what if we run out of time? Well, at least the beginning is good.
Mm.
At least like that first part of the show is polished. I kind of disagreed with that director. Um, I think that, and if I ever end up going back to like the theater, I
Mm.
might think about doing it like this. Um, clean the second half first,
Mm.
right? So
So your audience ends with a feeling of wow.
yeah, yeah. So like it doesn't matter if the beginning isn't great.
Mm-hmm.
That's fine. As long as your end is strong. Or as long as you end strong. Like I think that's That's it. Um, but with that being said, this might have been a little too late, right? Because like, this episode had quite a lot of payoff,
Mm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Kyle and
Especially in
Camilla,
FTC. Yeah.
yeah, like Kyle and Camilla, the the assist from Camilla was just so it felt really nice,
Mm-hmm.
it was like I was cheering there. My wife thought it was crazy. It was like, yes. She looks over to like the bed, like, what are you? I'm watching Survivor. Um, the like around the tribe swap, there was an Eva and Star sort of scene, right? they
Mm-hmm.
they had their moment where like Star gives Eva the idol and nothing really comes of it, but then all of a sudden that makes complete sense right now, because she was one of the two votes that Eva got.
Mm-hmm.
So like that scene was paid off. This might actually be like a season that's better on a rewatch. But
Mm.
um,
And as maybe as a binge, not like as a week to week watch, you believe?
yeah, yeah. Um, the the Gabler season, for example, right? It wasn't exactly great week to week.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or no, it was really good. Rather, it was really good week to week. But right at the very end, it was like, oh, Gabler, what, huh? But then, like after sort of rewatching the whole thing, it kind of retroactively becomes better because we know what we're looking out for.
Mm-hmm.
So I get the feeling that season 48 is going to be one of those seasons where it gets a little bit better, on the rewatch, because we get to see um, Kyle and Camilla sort of
Mm-hmm.
go through the game as that under the radar sort of duo. In the same way that you got to see the Ali Gabler kind of go underwater, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's what I think of the season. It's probably better
Mm.
on a rewatch.
Probably better on a rewatch, and CBS will like that because it'll drive more traffic to their streaming service to
Yeah,
rewatch the entire season.
yeah, yeah. Make use of
Yeah.
those. Was it Paramount Plus? It's on Paramount Plus, right?
Yeah, it's on Paramount Plus.
Make use of your Paramount Plus subscriptions, people that watch on Paramount Plus,
Yeah.
while waiting for the fall, right?
Well,
While
waiting
waiting for
for the transition season.
Oh, I feel so bad for 49, dude. I feel so bad for 49.
The transitionary season, the Thor one of seasons, of Survivor seasons.
Oh man. Looking at the 49 cast,
Mm-hmm.
um, looking at the 49 cast, there are a lot of really big personalities on it.
Yeah.
I'm guessing that that's why they did it,
Mm-hmm. Okay. Because
right?
it'll stand on its own. Is that why?
Sort of, yeah, yeah. Like you have that you have like social media influencer people that
Mm-hmm.
have like tens of thousands of followers and all of that sort of thing on there, so they're pulling in that audience. um if anybody is familiar with Smash Brothers, there was a former Smash Brothers player, a former Smash Bros like pro, that's on the season, right? Not like a commentator like Rome, but somebody that did commentary,
That
but
actually
also
actually
like played.
played.
Yeah, he has a
Mm.
Liquipedia page, you know. Yeah, so see, Jason Waterfalls, for the people that are curious, that's his screen name. Can't remember his last name. Jason something. Jason Waterfalls. And
You can't go, you know, can't go
yeah,
Jason Waterfalls. Is
I'm
that the
pretty sure.
pun there?
I'm pretty sure that that's the pun. So, like my guess is that that's what they tried to do with 49. Like they tried to make it big and bombastic so as
Mm-hmm.
it won't be overshadowed by 50.
Yeah. I mean, they're already sabotaging it by doing this whole cast announcement on Wednesday in the US. But anyway, hopefully 49 holds up, right?
Yeah.
And yeah.
But we're here to talk about 48.
We're here to
We're
talk
here.
about 48.
We're here to
Yeah.
talk about why Kyle played such a good game.
Did he? That's the thing. Was he the? Did he play the best game? Well, probably. If you, it depends on the. I think yeah, it depends on the on your criteria for best game,
Well, I
right?
mean, he played the middle really well.
And he said as much, right? And yeah, that's actually one of the things that I put on my notes. He played the middle really well, but then again, playing the middle is such it's such a stereotypical way of winning
It makes
in
for such a
Survivor.
boring season.
Yeah, he, yeah. I mean, and that it. We've been complaining about how recent seasons players have become so game bottish, right? Such that Kyle basically played a game bot season. He plays the middle, right? Play
Mhm.
the middle. Don't increase your threat level, but then again, still be essential to whoever is on top, right? And
Yeah.
still keep relationships with people in the bottom. It's such a for me, and this again, it might be me being bitter that Joe didn't win. Someone who is in a public duo but is able to maintain that duo all the way from pre-merge after the tribe swap. They maintained that duo publicly all the way to final tribal council. Played a better game because they were able to keep that duo there,
Mm. All right, that makes sense.
right? And in a game of Survivor where the public duos are actually targets, they never
Yeah.
got targeted. I mean, they got targeted, but they never got hit.
Yeah. Well, this what do you call it? This season showed us the best versions of two types of duo,
Yeah.
right? It showed us the best version of a public duo, and it showed us the best version of like a secret duo,
Mm.
right? So much so that like I think this might be that this season might be like one of the touchstones going forward in subsequent seasons. Like if there's a pair, it's going to be described as either a Kyle and Camilla or Joe and Eva.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And they might just go ahead and study this in survivor school, wherever isn't there supposed to be a survivor school somewhere in the US?
Yeah, yeah,
With,
I'm
yeah.
sure. I'm sure, like I'm sure in like 51, people are going to be like, "All right, let's Kyle and Camilla this up," right? You know,
Yeah.
like that was
Yeah.
it was the evolution of it was the evolution of the Cody
Hmm. And Jesse.
and Jesse and sort of the evolution of Charlie and Maria, with the
Mm.
exception of um, Camilla actually voted for Kyle.
No, yeah. Yeah. And it I think that it Kyle was lucky that well not really Kyle was lucky, but yeah, Kyle was lucky that he got paired up with Camilla
Mm.
because Camilla got really invested in the duo, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, she had that line in the finale where she was like, I thought I could separate the head from the heart, but then I ended up playing this game for two, right?
yeah. Like,
So it,
oh.
yeah, people are like, okay, so she's in love with Kyle. Uh, very reductive, but yeah. Uh,
They have like a sibling thing going on. Or
yeah.
she's married. She's married.
Mm. Now
They're
he's
both.
married as well now.
He's
Yeah.
married as well now. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
um, yeah, it's the concept of the quote unquote work wife.
Mm.
Yep.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, yeah, it's something that is going to be studied pretty much by anyone by super fans later on, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Um. Let's see.
Now, one
But
thing though that I have to say is that Joe had the worst final tribal.
oh yeah. My God. I'm so
He couldn't stand up for himself. he wouldn't stand up for himself. He wouldn't stand up for what he was able to do. He he didn't push. He didn't lean into the what I was just pointing out, right? The fact that they were a public duo, they were able to make it all the way to the end. He wasn't able to lean into that enough for the jury to see that as actual gameplay, right?
Yeah.
Because to them, he did nothing. He just got duped.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was watching Final Tribal, when I was watching Final Tribal, when Joe was speaking, I was like, oh man, I feel so bad for Joel right now.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
oh, in a way, he did step in for Eva, right?
Hmm.
I mean,
But then again, that's what that's what he did. He stepped in for Eva, and his entire game was reduced into that. He was Eva's older brother. He
yeah,
was Eva's protective shield, right?
yeah. And in that way, he won Survivor.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. The
yeah,
journey that he went through, right? Especially this being Survivor being something that right, he bonded over with his sister, the sister that he lost,
yeah,
and now he found a new sister. It's just like it's just like The Last of Us. Joel lost a daughter, found a daughter in Ellie,
yeah,
and yeah, right.
yeah. So there. And he almost did, right? I was actually so glad that he didn't. When I was watching, because
Mm,
like I remember like a couple of episodes ago, we were like, oh, he would step in,
mm,
for fire, whatever, right? Like Eva's putting fire, and he's like, no, let me be the one to do it.
mm-hmm,
I'm glad that didn't happen.
mm-hmm.
Like I'm glad ultimately that Eva was like, no, I have to do this.
Yeah, I'm glad for
Right?
her that she was stubborn enough to say that she needed and aware enough that she felt that she needed to overcome it on her own,
Yeah,
but was still open enough to accept help from Joe.
yeah.
Right?
Like,
And
great character arc. Yeah,
Even Kyle was thinking about stepping into fire. I hope that they had. I wish they played that up a little more because after that, after Joe left, they showed us like a clip or a second or two of Kyle actually practicing making fire. Right?
yeah, yeah. Probably no. My my thinking on that was it was probably like something that was induced by production.
There you go again with production induced sequences.
Yeah, like when they ask when they ask their questions on the walk on their walks, right, or on their like confessionals, like is there a world where you would step in to fire, put
Mm.
yourself in fire? Kyle stops and thinks about it. Well, answers it, and then like they cut that into the show because
Mhm.
if there was more to it, then they probably would have played it up even more.
Mm. Mm.
That's why like
The fact that there wasn't more footage of him thinking about it or doing something that might look as if he's stepping in for fire, that makes you think that it was a production induced thing.
yeah, like just in the sense that they probably just asked him that question.
Hmm. Mm. Okay, point taken. Point taken. But yeah, uh, that portion, uh, Eva getting over it, and then all of it. She's supposed to be a super fan. She knows she's not gonna get coconut husks and and all of those materials in fire. But then again, you can't blame her. She has this. It has to be clear cut for her, right?
Yeah,
That's why where she got thrown off when she saw that she couldn't stop looking at the setup for fire, and you
yeah,
could see how the gears in her head were moving and like, oh no, it's not husks. Oh no, it's not what I practiced with. And
yeah. Good thing old Camilla took over.
old Camilla, her legs start cramping, her hands started cramping up. There is some speculation online that it was a throw by Camilla.
Really?
Yeah, there is a small portion of people that say that she threw it because she knew that if she had made it to final three, there was a lesser chance of either her or Kyle to win. Again, going back to that whole thing about only one of us has to be in final three. One of us has to be in jury.
I'm convinced though that like any final three permutation starting from the top five, Camilla would have won.
Camilla and the what do you call this? The other jurors said as much when Jeff asked them if Camilla was in final, who would have voted for her, right?
Yeah.
And it was, I think, it was a landslide. I think.
Yeah, like I'm convinced that she would have won. Um
Yeah,
that
she's
that
like
was that
she.
was that was in my notes. That was in my notes. This isn't off the top of my head
Yeah. I
right
remember you
now.
saying that. Yeah, but exactly, she's exactly like the winner for Australian Survivor, the Juggler Rat, being underestimated the entire time to the point that, well, starting off that she also underestimated herself, but then again, she also had the story. She overcame it and she grew. That was a character arc for her as well,
Yeah.
right?
She won an immunity.
She
Like
she won too.
yeah, and this is with like freaking Joe
Yeah,
in the picture. Like,
yeah.
dude,
And
come
she
from
was like
behind victory, but good.
come from way behind, right? Not just a couple of minutes behind. She was like way behind. Joe was only in like the third stage, and she was like in the
Stuck in
first.
the net.
She couldn't even get past the net.
Right?
Right?
Like when what's her name? When Eva got the advantage,
Mm.
I was like, oh, God.
Here we go
I was
again.
like, what is this? And then all of a sudden Camilla clutches out, like, oh my God, Camilla, you are my hero. Like,
Yeah. So yeah, Camilla. I would have probably been a little bit more accepting of a Camilla win compared to a Joe win because a Camilla win would be an underdog win,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just yeah. Oh, but I was actually like waiting for Joe to like come up and say that he actually has like some sort of like hidden occupation.
What? Super spy?
I was like I'm a lawyer, and like he was like, no, I'm a PhD candidate,
Mhm.
and Joe was like, well, I'm a firefighter, but I
By day.
specialize in putting out by putting out fires on the ISS or something like that. You know, like I actually work for NASA.
Right? Like, yeah. But then again, he was just his mind was just blown by those two revelations, and I
Yeah.
didn't click on it, but there was a story about how he was so taken aback by the revelations of, well, it was called lies of Kyle, and that probably shook him too much, right? That he wasn't able
Mm.
to articulate anymore what he needed to articulate. Uh, yeah.
That that actually makes sense though, because yeah. That totally makes sense because that can shake you, man. Like you
Mm,
think you know what's going on, but really you don't.
yeah. Yeah.
Like,
And you can
yeah.
actually pinpoint it in the episode. The moment that silent that undercover duo was revealed, you could see it in the faces of Joe and Eva. They were like,
Yeah.
"What?" And then the entire reality of their 26 days on the island was suddenly like overturned. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what it would have been so cool, right? If they did that as a flashback. Like if we as the
Mm.
audience, it's going to be a terrible season, but amazing on a rewatch. If um the entire like thing was hidden, if their
Hmm.
entire relationship was hidden up until like the very last, like final tribal where like Kyle was like, actually, we're the best pair to ever play Survivor, and then bam,
Bam.
flashback.
All of their 20-second conversations made into a montage.
Yeah,
Right?
while he's narrating,
Mm-hmm.
like, this is what actually happened. Like heist, like a heist movie, but like throughout the season, it's gonna make for a great like season on a rewatch. But yeah, week to week, it's gonna be like, oh, what is this?
But then again, we say heist because throughout the season, it would usually mean that they made a lot of moves together. Essentially,
Yeah.
they only made two, right? The Thomas move,
Mm.
uh, sorry, excuse me,
And the Shaheen
and then
move.
the
Yeah,
Shaheen, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't know if it really was anything because the entire time it was like Camilla trying to convince Kyle to make a move, and Kyle is like, "No, I need to stay with this group. No, I need to stay with this group." Right?
yeah.
But yeah. So
But that being said, though, that's kind of why Kyle won, right? Because he knew when to make the best
make the
move.
move. Yeah.
Yeah,
The move that
and
Mitch never got to make.
well, what's his name? Steven Fishback. I think it's Steven Fishback. Um, has said that um, oftentimes the best Survivor game makes for the worst Survivor season.
Mm.
Like if you, yeah, for somebody that plays the game well, like
Mm.
good luck getting a great dramatic season out of it, because
Mm.
a lot of the fun stuff happens when people mess up.
Mm. True. True. Like what if Joe actually did check in with Shaheen and not go into dad mode
Yeah,
and right? Just ask him, look, Camilla told me that you showed her beads. Did you do it? If that had happened, K and K game blown up, right?
yeah. So like, yeah, sometimes the best Survivor gameplay makes for the worst Survivor season. One of those paradoxes of Survivor.
Yeah,
Mm.
I understand. Well, you say that it makes for a good rewatch. Do you think it would make for a good movie? Season 48. This is my cringe awkward segue into that thing that I told you to think about.
Ladies and gentlemen, the season 48 biopic. Who would we cast?
Who would we cast? All right, let's get into it. Let's How do you want to do this? Do you want to do this from the jury but up to the final three, or do you want it to do final three and then jury?
Let's go for the jury. Let's start with the jury.
Okay, let's do it in order then. First person on the jury was Cedric. Cedric. Who do you have as? Who would you cast in a biopic? This okay. Let's set the boundaries. So it can be any celebrity, right? It could be any celebrity, and then as we talked about earlier, it does not have to be their current form, right? It can be it can be we can put like we can put qualifications of when from which era, right? So yeah, so let's start with Cedric. Who do you have as Cedric?
Uh, Gary Coleman.
Gary Coleman. Oh my god. All right. All right.
You
That's
see, look.
hmm.
He looks like Gary Coleman.
Wait, I need to look him up again. I haven't seen a Gary. I forgot what he looks. Okay. All right. All right. Okay.
He
All
just
right.
has to lose some weight.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So yeah, mine is. I also went with looks. Well, I came up with two, but for one, it's based a lot on the look. And God rest his soul, but it is Lance Reddick. I have Lance Reddick as Cedric.
Oh, yeah, that works. That works. That works. That works.
My other option to make it funny or make it fun is Samuel L. Jackson. Imagine Samuel L. Jackson being Cedric.
Yes.
All right. So that is Cedric. Now, next we got Chrissy. Who do you have us doing, Chrissy?
Um, I don't know. I don't know. Insert random white actress here.
I actually had a hard time looking for someone I would like to do Chrissy, but I did end up with someone because I don't know why. I think I was going through the streaming services and came up across a show that she probably did, and I have Jane Lynch as Chrissy.
Yeah, Glee.
Glee, yeah,
Yeah, from Glee.
yeah,
Oh, yeah, that looks about right. That looks about right.
yeah.
Huh.
And then who got voted out after Chrissy? It was Star
David.
already, right? It was David. David. Okay, David. Who do you have as David?
I have David.
David is David. Wow. Only he can do himself. All right.
I mean,
All right.
does it not fit? Like he's trying to be, he's a stunt performer,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the times, right, the stunt performer will end up like trying to transition into
Yeah.
movie star sort of role. So
I actually think that that's what he was trying to
David
do.
is David. Yeah,
I actually think that that was what he was trying to do. He was trying to ham it up so that casting agencies can see, oh, he can act. He has range.
yeah,
He can do brooding. He can tell a joke. Right? He does standing up pretty well.
But then if that doesn't work, then it's John Bernthal.
Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting.
Because he kind of has the look, right? But
Mhm.
but I still think it should be David. David playing David.
David playing
It seems to fit. It seems to fit like the persona that he had on the show as well, right? Like,
Yeah, yeah. That's an actual really good fit. For me, it's a specific character that a certain actor played, and it is Ryan Reynolds. Okay, it's Ryan Reynolds,
Ooh.
but with a CGI body, a la the character that he played on Free Guy. That
Yeah.
that yeah, that really buffed Ryan Reynolds in Free Guy.
Mhm.
So it's that or John Cena. John Cena as David.
Or just insert muscly actor Channing Tatum. Like,
Channing Tatum. Yes, yeah, exactly. There you go. Channing Tatum. muscly white actor. Right.
yeah.
After David, who do we have? Star. Was it? That was Star, right? Was it?
Yeah, Star. Um, I don't know, the person that I can think of for Star is that the what's her name, from Black Panther, the Dora
one?
Milaje lady.
Oh, wow. I don't know her name. I forget her name.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Lupita
Okay.
Nyong'o.
Lupita Nyong'o. There you go. Oh no, Lupita Nyong'o or Danai Gurira Okoye. Are you going for Okoye or Nakia? Nakia was the sort of love interest of T'Challa.
Wait.
So the Dora Milaje is Danai Gurira Okoye, the bald one.
Let's say Lupita Nyong'o.
Okay, all right, okay. There you go, Lupita Nyong'o. That's Star. For me, I wanted to keep it a little crazy, a little eccentric. So I went with Leslie Jones of SNL and Ghostbusters, the all-female Ghostbusters fame.
Yeah. I can see that. I can see that. She doesn't have the look, but she has the sort of attitude,
Yeah.
like the personality for it. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
That's
Mhm. Yeah. And then after Star, that
after Star is
it's
Mary.
It's Mary. Mary.
Who do you have?
I have, because I wanted representation, I have Isa Briones, Go Filipino representation, because I like her. I recently saw her in Bit, on HBO Max, and
Yeah,
she was
yeah.
really good in it. And then it's either her or Constance Wu from Fresh Off the Boat
Oh,
because of the crazy.
all right. Okay. I was thinking Aquafina if you wanted crazy.
Oh, there you go. There you go. That's actually really nice. That actually fits better. Yeah.
Yeah, like when I was thinking of Star, like I don't know how that's like. When I was thinking of Mary, like nobody else can
Hmm.
play her besides Aquafina.
That's true. That's true. That's true. You're right. You're right. That's it. That's it. All right. We are down to how many more are these? Four or five? We go with Shaheen first. Well, we already talked about who Shaheen looks the most like.
Yeah, although I would like to see him played by Rami Malek.
Oh, hmm. That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah. So just for those who never got to the point where we talked about this in previous episodes, we had Shaheen looking so much like Shia LaBeouf, especially the ones in the memes that came out, right?
Yeah.
The ones with the "do it, just do it." Yeah, those gifs that he made, or whatever those are called. Yeah, but Rami Malek, yeah, that actually looks. That's interesting. That is interesting. All right, and we've got Mitch. Oh, let me go ahead first.
Yeah.
So I've got Mitch is either gonna be because I love this guy, this actor as character, as a character actor. So I've got John Leguizamo. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Perfect. That's perfect.
right,
That's
John
perfect.
Leguizamo. Or here's in for me, it's an even more perfect one. Ken Jong. Ken Jong as Mitch.
Really? You know,
Mm.
my my pick for him was Ding Dong Dantes.
Wow, wow, that's representation.
Filipino representation,
Hmm.
man. Like a
Yeah.
Filipino.
Hmm. All right.
Like the Ding
So
Dong Dantes from a few years ago, right? Like the
yeah.
Ding Dong
Okay. So
Dantes from
this was the one that you said that it's an earlier version.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Ding Dong Dantes. Uh. All right. Who do we have next? Okay, we're down to
We're
Camilla.
done.
Who do you have
Camila.
as Camilla? Yeah.
Iman Villani.
Wait. I have to take a look at her again. Iman Villani.
The
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's her. Yeah, Miss
from
Marvel.
Miss Marvel, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, this is me watching a lot of sitcoms, and I have her as Mindy Kaling. Mindy Kaling from The Office and the Mindy Kaling
Oh,
Show. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And I did touch on Black Panther as well, and this is only because I tried looking for Hollywood actresses for actually Guyanese, and one of the more
Mhm.
prominent ones that came out was Letitia Wright, also
Yeah,
from
yeah,
Black Panther. Yeah.
yeah. But well, actually, I could see Letitia Wright, Star being played by Letitia Wright.
Mm.
Although if we had gone for like the entire season, I would have had, I would have had Letitia Wright playing Say.
Oh yeah. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. All right.
Hmm.
Top three. Let's start with Joe. It's a pretty. Yeah, they did already call him The Rock, but do you have another actor playing him?
Pedro Pascal.
That's I think that's the one that we have the same. Yeah, Pedro Pascal as Joe. Yup, can be no other guy. He just exudes. I mean, Pedro Pascal is so used to doing those kinds of roles already.
Yeah, exactly. Might as well do it again, right?
Yeah. All right.
Which means Eva is going to be played by.
Bella Ramsey. Yeah, I actually I have her. I have Bella Ramsey as Eva,
Me too.
Yeah, only because of mostly because of the Pedro Pascal thing. But if I were to go for the physical Eva, uh, Eva Erickson, there is also an actress. Have you been watching the season 2 of Last of Us? Have you watched it yet?
Not yet.
Are you
Not yet.
yeah? Are you familiar with the story of Last of Us 2, the video game?
Yeah.
No, not
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, there's also an actress who plays Abby on Last of Us
Oh.
season 2, Caitlin Dever. She's
Yeah.
not as bulky as the video game version of Abby, but for me, Caitlin Dever can play the physical Eva.
Mm.
Right?
Well,
Yeah.
another reason that I think Bella Ramsey would be great, apart from the joke,
Mm.
that that's basically what Survivor 48 is, right? Survivor 48, the biopic, is basically like The Last of Us, surrounded by monsters. Freaking have Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey
Yeah,
there.
and they're a public duo, and they get through the end.
Right?
Right?
Like, yeah, but apart from that, she's also on the spectrum.
Oh, is she? I didn't know that. Oh, that makes sense. I mean, that makes sense. Meaning the casting. Mm.
Yeah, that's yeah,
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
So she has autism. So
Oh,
like it
it
works
works on
it
different
works really
levels.
well. Yeah. Like you
Yeah.
need representation, like there you go,
Mm-hmm.
This
Mm-hmm.
would be the perfect role for her,
Mm-hmm.
which necessitates Joe being played by Pedro Pascal.
Exactly. It's not necessarily Joe is played by Pedro Pascal. That's why she's Bella Ramsey. It can be also the other way around, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's how I thought of it actually, because I
Okay.
remember reading that like Bella Ramsey was diagnosed with autism. And we're like,
Ah.
oh, all right, all right. So when you mentioned that, I was like, all right, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
It works on so many levels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That way, Pedro Pascal and Bella Ramsey get to work together again.
Yeah.
Because yeah. All right, we've got the eventual winner, Kyle. Who do you have as Kyle?
I cannot see anybody else but Wesley Snipes.
I actually was considering him. But wait, Wesley Snipes from like Blade years, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's the other guy from like back in
Yeah,
the day
yeah.
that I was
Okay,
thinking about. Yeah.
okay. Me, I've got Dev Patel. Dev Patel
Yeah.
because he's the guy who says that what was it? It was about something Kyle said about uh moderately looks handsome or something like that, and then you cut to Camilla saying like downplaying the fact that okay he says that he's just moderately handsome, but he's actually handsome because Dev Patel is a nice looking guy, right?
Yeah.
But
You know what?
he
Dev Patel could play Shaheen.
yeah, he could also do that. Yep. Yeah, he could also do that. My other one is Michael B. Jordan as Kyle. Just so you know,
Mm.
uh, give him that confidence boost. You have to have like a star playing the winner, unless the
Wesley
story isn't
Snipes.
really unless the story isn't about the winner, right? What is the story all about? Right, so yeah, there you
Mm.
have it. Survivor 48 biopic. Now what is the title? Now this is the thing.
starring Michael B. Jordan,
Mhm.
directed by Ryan Coogler.
There you go. There you go. So we're gonna have to have Haley Steinfeld somewhere there. Right. So yeah. So now the next question is, well, it could yeah. What is gonna be the title of the Survivor 48 biopic?
Survivor 48.
Survivor 48, the biopic. All
The
right.
biopic.
Yeah.
Unless
Yeah.
it's like, but of course the studio is going to change it. Sort of like, I'm not sure how true it is, but there's that probably an apocryphal story of like a biopic of Henry V not being called Henry V because if it were released as like Henry V in the American market, they would wonder where the first four movies were.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. But then again, you've got Star Wars Episode 4 before the prequels were made.
But yeah.
Right. So yeah. Anyway, so it's Survivor the biopic, directed by Ryan Coogler, starring Michael B. Jordan. Right. And yeah, that's it for
Oh,
our casting.
it could also be
Oh, we
you
have
could
one more
also
guy. I don't have this. Who plays Jeff?
JLP.
All right. All right,
And if
Jeff.
we have an Australian Survivor
Mhm.
biopic, JLP is played by Jeff Probst.
Jeff Probst.
Whew.
Okay. All right. There you go. There you go. Oh, you were saying something.
Yeah, we could also we could also have the main characters of it be Joe and Eva as portrayed uh by Pedro Pascal and directed by like Dave Filoni since we're talking about Star Wars.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we could go ahead and do that too. Right? uh Survivor 48, the biopic. Why does everything look like garlic? Right. Speaking of titles, let's move over to what it could have been. What the title of this episode was. Only one of you. I got that. I got it that it was Chrissy. Right.
Mm,
Only one of you
yeah.
can. Right. But you're right. It could have either been her or Star. But yeah, what could the title of this episode have been?
Uh it was I forgot who said it, but um there was a line somewhere like you deserve it. Did
Oh,
somebody say that?
at one point in the episode, yeah,
Or is that or is that from the
the zeitgeist.
what do you call the post show, the after show? I can't remember.
It might be from the post show. I'm not sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, it's fine. I mean, it's we still saw it as one whole thing. It's not like we saw it in two different episodes. Yeah,
Hmm.
for me, and because I think this encapsulates a lot of what happened, and the one who actually did win, uh, also adhered to this. The title that I have is "I Should Have Made a Move."
Mm, that
Right?
works. Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually a line from Mitch. uh,
Yeah.
yeah, and I think that there's actually a montage somewhere of him, and every time that he says that we need to make a move or we have to take a shot, and he says it several times all throughout the season. So there's a montage somewhere of Mitch doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so mm.
Instead of doing like a survivors of the week,
Mm.
right? Um, it was just announced that like right before we recorded, about an hour before we are recording this, uh, which means people know that we actually record this at a certain time, no? Yesterday, in the future,
In the future.
yeah, there was an announcement made that they selected somebody from 48 to be on 50 already,
Oh, oh, I did not know that.
right? And we're going to find out on
In a
Thursday
couple of
morning,
days.
I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Thursday morning out here because I'm guessing it's Wednesday night
Mm-hmm.
over in the US. Um, so like, who would you like to see from this season on Survivor 50?
Ooh. Hmm.
I haven't thought about this either. So,
Yeah. I'm like I didn't quite like the energy of Say.
hmm.
Some people might want her to be back. I prefer if it was someone in that group, it would probably be Mary.
Hmm.
Or if not, if we want something who will most definitely play this time around, not Mitch. Still won't be able to make a move. Sorry, Mitch, we love you, but you're too nice. It probably should be Shahid.
Martin had the exact same sentiment.
right?
Insert
Oh,
Martin's thoughts
Martin's thoughts.
in the background. Just um yeah, Martin had the exact same thought.
Mm.
The current rumor is that it's going to be Joe.
Mm. I don't know
Um
if he's gonna last long in an all-star season.
yeah, but like the current rumor is that it's Joe, but generally I agree with you guys as well. Like the if we're looking at gameplay,
Mm.
right? If we're looking at gameplay, it's probably gonna be Shaheen. Like he was the one that showed a lot of promise and
Mm-hmm.
promised a lot of promise, which would lead quite nicely into a Survivor 50 arc,
Mm-hmm.
right? But then the argument going for Joe is they want the winner of Survivor 50 to be a good face for the
Uh,
franchise,
mm-hmm.
which, you know, if you're not going for a winner, Joe might be a really good face of the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
So like it's between I would say that it's between those two, at
Mm-hmm.
least in my mind, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I would much prefer to have Shaheen because he
Shaheen.
seems to have more of a story. Like
Mm.
Joe has a complete story arc
Yeah.
already.
Yeah.
But like my heart really wants Mary to be on there.
Right? Right? It'll be fun to see Mary, to
Yeah.
give her a chance to actually not be hobbled by a Say who's like constantly dogging her for some
Yeah.
reason. Right?
Yeah. The dark horse, David, that'd be funny. Uh, but you know,
A matchup between David and Jonathan, right?
that would be amazing. That would be amazing.
And a matchup also between Shaheen and Jesse. Oh my God, that's gonna be fun.
Hmm. So we're just taking it as we're just taking it as a given that Jesse is going to be cast.
I hope that he gets cast. I mean, he's one of those guys who has like a loose end, basically,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I can totally see that. Like, I really think that would work. But then, do you think he would work without Cody? Like, would they have to cast Cody as well?
Mm. Because if you cast Cody, then it becomes a public duo. How would they navigate being a public duo as opposed to being a Kyle and Camilla duo, like how they operated in their season, right?
Well, they just have to watch Survivor 48.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
yeah.
so the Shaheen, we're all pulling for Shaheen,
Yeah.
even though all of the rumors are that it's Joe.
Mm. Yeah. Well, I get if yeah, I get the intention of having a nice, good mannered face for the franchise. But if we want, it seems as if the game requires game,
Yeah,
right? That is what is being sought. And I
yeah,
mean, Shaheen can be a nice. I mean, he's not bad. Right? It's just that
yeah,
Joe was just such a paragon of being a nice person.
yeah, yeah. He would get the nice guy edit,
Yeah,
which means he might be first boot.
exactly. Right. So yeah, that's the downside of it. That's why I think in an all-star season he wouldn't last long.
With that being said, if he is cast, he's automatically your winner pick, right?
Okay, of course, because he didn't win this time. He didn't win this time. He's got to win the next time. Right? Yeah. So yeah. Any other thoughts about season finale? Well, season 48 as a whole.
I think we already sort of gave, well, at least I gave more or less my impressions of the season as a whole, probably better on a rewatch.
Mm.
Disappointing that the front half was really good. The back half was kind of boring. The saving grace, quote unquote, of the finale, because this was a good finale, don't get me wrong. This was a really good finale, but I feel like it came in a little too late,
Mm.
you know. Maybe if this were like the old era, the old new era, where this could have been split into two episodes, we got to build up to it a little bit more,
Hmm.
you know, maybe. maybe that would have worked. I don't know. Oh, just something that I found really interesting when watching them do this emotion, like challenge where they
Mm-hmm.
do the balls thing. Um, I noticed that Kyle, I think it was, would wait for the absolute last second before dropping in the next ball to
Mm. Oh
ensure
yeah.
maximum time to
Mm-hmm.
bring the balls all the way down. I don't know if we ever mentioned that on the show before,
No, we
but
haven't
it
mentioned
was
that.
it was just something that I noticed.
Yeah.
Peridium, if you have one of those videos about how they hack challenges or whatever, dude, I know you're
That might be,
listening.
yeah, that might be something.
This might be something there, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I did notice that Eva was like counting the revolutions, the how many times the ball was going down. Yeah. She
Yeah.
probably just lost count or got too involved in the counting to remember where the ball was coming out of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, that was something that I noticed. Kyle waited for the absolute last second before dropping in the next ball, just so there's the maximum amount of time in between each
Hmm.
ball. Because like watching some of the other times that people have played some motion, and like Camilla was kind of guilty of this, right? She put the next ball in
Yeah,
immediately
right
the
away.
moment it
Yeah.
drops out. Like
Yeah.
that's not, you know, that means you have to catch two a little bit quicker
Hmm.
in a row instead of sort of evening spacing them out and like getting into a good rhythm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a hack. We'll see
Yep.
if that comes out in Peridium.
Yep.
Yeah. You're right. Okay, if there's nothing else, that is it for tonight's episode and for our discussion on season 48. We would greatly appreciate it if you hit the like button so we don't get voted off the channel. At any rate, this has been Joel Parkon.
And I'm Jao.
We hope to see you on the council again soon. Until then, stay safe, mga kalaro. The Titos have spoken.